being on the verge of suicide and being as low as any man can go to being on the biggest stage in the world with the world watching. If that ain't a miracle and a turnaround and a true show that anybody can come back from anything, then I don't know what is. Anybody. It's really unimportant to me who I fight. I'm a pro boxer. I'm either the best or I'm not. There is no in between for me. I'm either the best fighter or I'm not. I don't want to be number 2, 3 or 4. I want to be the best or prove me wrong. I was winning. You know, you come to Las Vegas, right? You've seen the movies, you've seen all the TV shows and all the big fights. You come here and you see your face up all over the show. Billboards everywhere and big TV screen, massive on hotels and full-size hotel screens. I look at that and I go, oh, that's Tyson Fury. Wait a minute, that's me. Dream come true. I didn't think I'd go anywhere apart from a padded room. That's how down I was. So to be here now a couple of years later after that, it's not only a miracle but a blessing from God as well. After only 2 years ago, being on the verge of suicide and being as low as any man can go to being on the biggest stage in the world with the world watching. If that ain't a miracle and a turnaround and a true show that anybody can come back from anything, then I don't know what is. Waking up and you don't want to live anymore. You know, it's hard for me to say sat here because I'm not thinking in that mindset anymore. But there was a number of years where I did not want to live on a daily basis. I said to God, why have you let me wake up this morning? Why didn't I die in my sleep? And I had no real reason. There wasn't one thing that made this happen. This is a continuous journey for years and years and years of depression and anxiety. It wasn't after the fight. I've been suffering with it my whole life. You know, I was a little boy and I didn't know what this feeling was. I used to feel horrible, terrible, feel like I was being left behind or something was wrong, and even though nothing was wrong. And I later found out, 27 years later, that it was anxiety that I've been suffering with my whole life. The feeling that something's about to happen and nothing happens. Yeah. Terrible. So, after I won the championship off of Vladimir, the Everest was climbed. There was no more for me to do. In my mind, I'd achieved everything I ever wanted to do. 1, being world champion, and 2, beating one of the greatest heavyweights of the last 20, 30 years. When I was 14, 15 years old, I used to watch Vladimir Klitschko on the TV as a world champion, heavyweight champion. And I used to say to people, I can beat that man. And nobody would listen. Everyone, yeah, whatever. And the more I said it, the more I believed it. And it came true. So when something like that happens, when the unthinkable becomes reality, there's just nothing else for you at that moment. If you're an addictive personality and you everything you do is all or nothing, when you achieve that greatness you've always wanted, you're like, is this it? What next? And that was exactly the point that I was at. But before the Klitschko fight, I've got guys in the team, they'll tell you the truth with no need to lie. He said, what are you going to do after you beat Klitschko? I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Probably be depressed for the next 2 years. I said, because after every high, there's going to be a massive low. And I did. I couldn't control it. I knew it was coming, but couldn't stop it. It was like a steam train rolling at 100 miles an hour and trying to stand in front of it. No stopping it. I come from a family where we don't show love. We don't show emotion. We don't do anything like that.
Show vulnerability.
Yes. So I'm suffering with this problem on the inside, and it's like shaking a bottle of champagne up with a corkscrew half hanging out. It's going to explode. And it did. And then there was no stopping me at all. It was 2 years later. I'd been out for 2 years, out the ring. I was 400 pounds in weight. They stripped all my belts off me, or I'd vacated them. I was a shadow of my former glory. I looked in the mirror and I was, what's the word? What could I, embarrassed, ashamed, let down, disappointed. There isn't a word that I could use that's worse enough that I could say. I looked at myself and I thought, you're a failure. But at this time, I still wasn't educated on mental health. I'm still thinking that I'm a piece of and, you know, I'm a weak person and all these type of things that are running through my mind all the time. And it was only when I saw doctors and professional help, people who specialise in these problems, that I was coming to grips with what I was suffering with. And it is a disease. It's a disease like no other, because no one can see it. So I started seeing these doctors, and I was still going out drinking and taking drugs, recreational drugs. And it was, I remember the night, I remember it vividly. It was 2017 Halloween night. I remember reading George Foreman's autobiography, and I remember him talking about he got on his knees and he begged God to help him when his nephew was ill. So I did the same. I got on my knees and I poured my heart out. I was crying. It was all wet down my chest. I was in that dark room must have been on my knees for 10-20 minutes, thinking what I've done to myself, and just let everything I ever wanted to say out. And when I got up off that floor, I felt like I was 210 pounds. For the first time in over 2.5 years, I knew what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. And that was regain being the best heavyweight on the planet again. %. The training is my medicine. I used to think all along it was boxing, but it's not. It's keeping fit. So without training, for me, if I have a week off out of the gym, I'm severely depressed and I don't want to live anymore. And that's being truthful. Even now, I've got to keep that training going all the time. Now, where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing, I've got my kit bag with me and I'll do some working out. It's easy. Everybody works out all over the world. It's not a big mission to do. Like I said, it wasn't hard. We trained 2-3 times a day for months. For months and months and months. But the one thing I never lost was confidence. Ever. Confidence in my ability to win. Even when I was 400 pounds, there wasn't a man then that could beat me. Never mind today. I want them to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because no matter what they're going through in their life right now, I've already been there and done it, and will continue to go down that same path until the day that I die.